This is Sarah. No, sorry, that's Nate. He's not in this story. He just stands around monologuing about war. This is Sarah. Her full name, due to her father's unfortunate affection for alliteration, is Single Settlement Sarah. In her youth, Sarah dreamed of owning a drive-in movie theater, but life had somehow gotten in the way, and she ended up in suburbia instead. However,
Confirmed reports, I repeat, confirmed reports of nuclear detonation.
after a series of unexpected events, Sarah's schedule was suddenly completely clear. Whether it was a burst of inspiration from remembering the dreams of her youth, or whether it was simply a case of nominative determinism, Single Settlement Sarah decided to finally make her lifelong dream a reality. She would take over a nearby fixer-upper, the Starlight Drive-In, and turn it into a thriving entertainment metropolis. Sarah knew that in order for her drive-in to succeed, she would need to attract lots of people. So she put her law degree skills to use and made a pirate radio station out of a hot plate and some coffee cups. Then she started fixing up the place. It didn't take long before a mysterious stranger appeared.
Hey, hello there. If I'm not mistaken, you're the gal I've been looking for.
On paper, Sarah was as charismatic as they come. In reality, she suffered from an unfortunate form of conversational Tourette's, which left her unable to resist impolite urges.
What do you want?
I heard your radio broadcast. Sounded as if you were starting some kind of settlement. Is that about the right of it?
Yeah. Just tell me what you want.
All right, I'll cut to the chase. Here, catch. It's called an ASAM sensor. If you're gonna be building settlements, these things are what you'll want to use.
Looks like junk to me.
I think a demonstration is in order. Place that ASAM down on the ground somewhere. Go ahead. Any old spot will do.
Congratulations! You've made the smart move of choosing Rocket brand ASAM sensors for your city planning needs.
Now for this next part, I'm gonna pretend to be a settler. It's come to work for you. So just play along, alright? Boy, I sure am glad I found this settlement to live in. But oh no! There are no homes available. And I don't know how to build one myself. I guess I'll just have to rely on whoever runs this place to build a home for me.
I don't think so.
Hey, come on, play along. But wait, what is this? Why, it's an ASAM! Just the thing I need!
You've lost it. I've had enough of this.
Wait a second, I'm going somewhere with this. I'll can the skid and get straight to the point. But just stick around and listen, please. Once you've placed down a sensor, your role in the construction is pretty much done. Just about anyone in the settlement can claim the area and start building for themselves. The directions that the ASAM provides are so easy to understand, even a savage could do it with no problem. All right, just one more nail, and there you have it. A fully built home, ready for habitation by some lucky wastelander. And you barely had to lift a finger. Not too shabby, huh? So now that you've seen what they can do, what do you think? Are ASAM sensors something you might be interested in?
What's the catch?
Ah, saw that coming, did you? You're right, there is a catch. Unfortunately, right now I only have the one sensor on me. However, I can provide you with more. And once you have more, I can show you even more stuff you could build with them. Homes are just the start. But first, I'm gonna have to ask for a little task done in return.
The stranger told Sarah she could have more sensors if she helped clear out a raider gang in a nearby town. So off they went.
Man, you picked the wrong fight.
Hey, up here, on the balcony. I've got a group of settlers inside. The raiders are almost through the door. Grab that laser musket and help us, please!
Sarah didn't know the man yelling at her, but he gave off an incredibly needy vibe. He seemed like the kind of person who always asked other people to fix his problems, without ever lifting a finger to help.
Can't see.
It was probably unfair to form so strong an opinion about someone she had never met, but Sarah felt convinced that the stranger on the balcony was the type who, no matter how many times you helped them, would always have heard of another situation that needed her help.
I'm hearing shit. Show you.
She decided to trust her gut and avoid the man. On her way out,
Man, I don't know who you are, but your timing's impeccable.
Excellent.
Sarah picked up a bobblehead in a magazine.
Commonwealth Minute Man. Maybe?
Bingo.
Nope.
Since they seemed like good additions to her drive-in.
That's it? Just gonna walk away?
Careful, kid.
There were more raiders waiting for her outside, but Sarah was quickly getting the hang of this new life of hers. And with her Molotov cocktails and trusty 10mm pistol, she made short work of the remaining. There were more raiders waiting for her outside, but Sarah was quickly getting the hang of this new life of hers. With her Molotov cocktails and trusty 10mm pistol, she made short work of the... There were more raiders waiting for her outside. Sarah hoped she wasn't going to die. As the Deathclaw charged, Sarah bravely ran away and valiantly took potshots at it from inside the hardware store.
I mean, you just took down a Deathclaw. Color me impressed. All the sound from our firefight must have lured the blasted thing out. What about them folks, the raiders trapped inside the museum? Did you manage to help them?
Who cares about them? What's next?
Oh, well, okay. A bit harsh, though, don't you think?
Whatever. Not like I care anyway.
All right. You held up your side of the bargain. The raiders have been dealt with. Now it's my turn to deliver. If you'd just like to follow me, we'll get you your ASAMs. Here, one whole box of ASAMs to do with as you see fit. You earned them. If you remember, I also promised to show you more things you could build with ASAM sensors. I'll meet you back at your settlement. Don't keep me waiting long now.
Sarah didn't want to keep the stranger waiting, so she headed back to... While the stranger wasn't looking, Sarah looted everything that wasn't nailed to the floor. And then she headed back to the drive-in. She hadn't been a hoarder before the bombs, and wondered if this new quirk of hers might be a symptom of prolonged cryosleep. The stranger showed her how to build plots for farming, so settlers could grow their own food, and industrial plots for settlers to gather building supplies and other materials.
Well, there we are. All basic necessities covered.
Excuse me, hello. Don't shoot now, I don't mean no harm. Hope you don't mind the intrusion. I couldn't help but notice all the commotion. What are you two young'uns up to here? That is, if you don't mind me asking. Fixing up these buildings, are you?
Buzz off, old man.
Now, hold up now, don't be dismissive. Actually, we just finished building these.
Is that so? Built them by yourself, did you? Well, you two looking to settle down here, or...?
This settlement belongs to my friend here, not me. I was just demonstrating some construction techniques using this ASAM sensor.
Are you telling me you made all this using that gizmo?
Sorry. Who are you?
Oh, did I not introduce myself? Well, you'll have to forgive me. When you get to be my age, pleasantries become somewhat optional. I'm Old Paul. People call me that on account of how old I am. And before you go asking my age, don't. I stopped counting years ago.
Hey, here's a suggestion. Why not offer the old-timer residents here? Let them experience the benefits of sensors firsthand.
Old Paul is at your service.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta get back to the hardware store. Got a lot of important work to be getting on with.
We're done.
Yep, we're done. I'm going to take my leave, so good luck with the settlement.
You're the head honcho around this place, right? Well, I've got a request to make.
I don't appreciate people telling me what to do.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you what to do, just suggesting.
Paul suggested Sarah build up the settlement some more, which, as far as suggestions go, seemed a bit on the obvious side, but she was glad he was trying to help. To expand the settlement, she would need more construction materials. So she headed out to a nearby diner to see if they had anything useful for sale.
I ain't letting you get me.
Hey,
I can't wait to see the crows feeding on that scumbag. If you ever need to trade, my shop's open.
sure. Let's take a look.
It's all worth every cap I'm charging.
After seeing what Trudy charged for a shipment of wood, her calling the raider a scumbag seemed a bit of the pot calling the kettle black. Back at the settlement, things were coming along nicely.
Hey, stop
There were
that,
new
please. It
settlers
can't be
who had
good for
built
the
new
sensor.
houses.
But it won't work right.
That's
With
no
more
reason
settlers
to go
came
beating the living
more drama.
daylights out of it.
Well, how do I make it do what I want?
I wish I could tell you, but I really don't know.
Then you don't know that kicking it won't work.
Excuse me, miss.
Oh, hello again.
Oh, thank goodness you're here. Maybe you can talk some sense into the young lady.
What's going on here?
It's this sensor thing. I want to build a store, you know, somewhere I could sell stuff, but it won't work.
A store? I don't think the sensors can build those. Can they?
Who knows?
You know who would know? That ASAM fella. Maybe you should go find him. Ask him what else these sensor flibbity gibbets can do.
The store did seem like a good idea. She could sell popcorn and soda pop to moviegoers. Did people still call it soda pop, she wondered. Maybe the stranger would know.
All right, darling, consider me curious. What's your story? Like, for starters, that Pip-Boy in her wrist. I bet there's a tale behind that.
Wouldn't you like to know?
It's not every day someone trips over a Pip-Boy. Heck, took me years to find mine. So where'd you get yours?
It's none of your business.
Sorry, didn't mean to shove my nose where it's not welcome. I was just curious was all.
Raiders! Hurry! Back in the settlement! A whole bunch of them! They've taken hostages, please. You gotta hurry.
Damn raiders are like rat roaches. You crush one and 5 more crawl out.
Come on, get the lid out and move before somebody gets killed.
Sarah was going to ask the stranger about the ASAM sensors on their way to the raiders, but he seemed a bit distracted.
You ever think what the vaults were all about? I mean, why not just make them all the same? Why so many different kinds?
So she figured it could wait.
Hold it! Take one step closer and I shoot.
Go ahead.
What? Don't you understand? I'm saying I'll kill them. I'll kill all of them.
I don't care what you do.
Yeah? Well, maybe you'll care when we kill you instead.
First mistake.
Hold it! Take one step closer and I shoot.
Could 100 caps change your mind?
It's not much, but it'll do. All right, boys. I think they learned their lesson.
Not the way I would have done it, but at least it's over now. Say, before we came here, I wanted to ask you something. The Commonwealth. By now, I'm sure you've experienced enough to form an opinion about it, so tell me, what do you think of it all?
It's the same old thing. People fighting each other instead of working together. Everything going to hell, but no one doing anything about it.
Hit the nail right on the head. Couldn't have put it better myself. So, what I propose is a partnership. You and me, working together to try and rebuild the Commonwealth. What do you say?
Depends. What's in it for me?
You're wanting to build settlements, right? Well, join with me, and we'll make settlements that are the envy of the entire wasteland.
All right, I'm in.
Hell yeah! You are not gonna regret this! I suppose a proper introduction is in order. Name's Jake. Jake Evans. And it's a pleasure to be working with you.
Let's not waste time with small talk.
Back at the settlement, a raider had decided to move in. He was standing on the roof, which was both dangerous and silly. Sarah tried to insult him, but couldn't think of anything to say.
You know, from before they went all loopy in the head?
Come back here.
Got company.
We got trouble!
Another worrying development since her time in the vault, in addition to her new, near-complete lack of respect for human life, was that she found herself routinely stripping the clothes off her victims, even when they weren't wearing stuff she had any interest in owning. Jake saw her doing this, but mercifully didn't comment. He probably had a habit or two he wasn't proud of either. Still, for her own peace of mind, Sarah hid the evidence behind a shed. Jake wanted her to help him search a nearby satellite station for ASAM
Hold on,
stuff.
we're near the cache.
On their way,
Just give me a second.
they stopped to pick up some supplies at a secret
Just a while
stash Jake
back,
had
when we
nearby.
first checked out the area. Aha! Looks like it's all still here. How do you like the headwear? Pretty cunning, don't you think?
You look absolutely fabulous.
Well, I know it's a flattering color, but fabulous? Kinda feel bad with what you're stuck with now. Here, this is for you.
It wasn't much.
Take care when you're traveling. Commonwealth is a dangerous place for sure.
It wasn't much, but Sarah would take all the help she could get.
What the?
Sarah was now both injured and on fire, which desperately made her want to take a nap. Another one of these new quirks of hers, danger-induced narcolepsy.
Say, before we head in, would you care for a bit of advice?
Whatever it is, I'm not interested.
Oh, all right then. I guess you know what you're doing. Come on, let's head on in. I wonder.
While Jake did his thing, Sarah did hers, looting. Building new homes took a surprising amount of fire extinguishers and oven mitts.
We're in luck. Air Force kept a log of inventory, and it mentions a delivery from Concord right here. Courtesy of Senator K. S. Magnuson, Item 1, industrial-sized Robco Comm Hub unit. Comm Hub. That must be the ACM equipment. It's recently tampered with. It's an extra level of security. Now, I reckon I could get through it, though. Just give me a few minutes. In the meantime, I'd appreciate if you take care of any raiders around. I don't like the idea of someone sneaking up on us while I work on this.
Shit! Bust. Man, come back! I was having fun! Look out for the...
Glad that's over. Mighty impressive. All right, let's get down to business. Well, well, well. What do we have here? Huh. Would you look at that? Interesting. Very interesting.
I went through a lot of trouble for this. I hope it was worth it.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. This is the ASAM Comm Hub. As best as I understand it, this thing connects to the sensors somehow, allowing them to do more stuff. I'll know more once I get it back to the hardware store. Well, I'd say we're done here. We found what we came for, no reason to stick around. You were a big help. There's no way I could have done this by myself.
Can we move this along? I've got places to be.
Oh, right, of course. You got things to do. See, if you've not already done so, now might be a good time to get your bearings. Still can't imagine how overwhelming all this must be for you. Maybe check in on any settlements you've got going. Or if you think you might need more sensors, there may be some not too far from here. A place called West Everett Estates. But I should warn you, area's overrun with super mutants. Might be a challenge for you, even after this.
On her way to the West Everett place, she learned that mosquitoes had gotten rather badass.
The cargo's safe!
Taking a different route, Sarah came across her first super mutants. Thankfully, they were quite explodey.
Bleeder! Come closer! I crush you and feed you to dogs!
Up yours.
Human want fight, Scout? Scout smash, human! That sound, what is it? Go away, Bleeder!
Quiet, Hammer! I talk for us. This super mutant land human. Sickle leads super mutants here. Why you come? Speak!
Fuck you.
Ah! Filth words! Filthy, disgusting Bleeder! Smash it! Smash away its filth!
Bleeder! Come closer! I crush you and feed you to dogs!
What are you?
Stupid human! I am super mutant! What you think I am?
The first word that comes to my mind is ugly.
Human want fight, Scout? Scout smash, human! That sound, what is it? Go away, Bleeder!
Quiet, Hammer! I talk for us. This super mutant land human. Sickle leads super mutants here. Why you come? Speak!
That's my business, not yours.
This Sickle's home. Sickle's business. Human comes to my house, interrupts my day. Tell me why you're here, now!
Your mother.
Dummy! Super mutants have no mothers! Kill it! Kill the dummy!
After toning down her banter a bit, Sarah learned that Sickle wanted her to go look for his missing brother, which she was going to do after getting some sleep. But in the morning, Jake got in touch.
This working? Hey there, Dawn.
Hello.
I knew you would help us.
Bang, transmitter. If you can hear this, come on back to the hardware store. Got some news on the compo. Is this even broadcasting? Oh, wait. I just got it.
There it is. Ain't she a beaut? Although sadly not ready for service just yet. In order to get things going, first, we need to turn this thing on. And for that, we're gonna need some serious power. Or as luck would have it, just a couple of feet below us is all the power we could need.
Yeah. Just tell me what you want.
Concord has a municipal plutonium well. Probably used to power every building in town. To get some real power flowing again, all you need to do is turn it on. That is, if you wouldn't mind helping out.
I got a better idea. Do it yourself.
I need to stay up here. When the power starts flowing again, there may be surges in the grid. I'll need to keep a close eye on that. Ah, my back's killing me.
While Jake hung out in the hardware store talking to himself, Sarah headed down to try and get the generator going.
Nuclear protection on.
There she learned that crabs, like mosquitoes, had gotten a lot tougher over the centuries. Thankfully, public opinion of drug use had gotten a lot more relaxed. She found the generator and gave it a good kick. A repair method classic that thankfully still worked. And when she got back up, Concord had working streetlights.
All right then. I think we're ready to give this a go. Best if you stand back. Okay. That didn't exactly go to plan.
You almost got us killed.
Oh, don't be so overdramatic. Eyebrows used to grow back. To be honest, I was kind of worried this might happen. Love's been sitting around unused for so long, and so many of its parts have degraded. Seems even with enough power, there's no getting around blown out capacitors and Paris semiconductors. Still, it's worth a try.
I assume you can fix that?
Give me a day or two. Maybe I could swap out some of the busted parts, clean a few tubes. It might be enough. I know it may not seem like it, but this was a step forward.
I find that very hard to believe.
Hey, one step back, two steps forward. Thanks for your help today. I'll put out a radio message again when I've got news. Take care out there.
Since she had some time, Sarah decided to go looking for the missing super mutant. On her way, she came across her first post-apocalyptic. On her way, she came across a bear standing between her and her goal. She decided her goal could wait. Instead, she gathered a bunch of mole rat meat. And inexplicably pulled out all of their teeth. Having managed the mole rats without problem, Sarah felt confident enough to take on the bear. Having managed the mole rats without problem, Sarah felt confident enough to do some exploring. She came across an abandoned farm, where she learned more about the creatures infesting the wasteland. Like the cockroaches hadn't just become huge, they were now also into boxing. She had her first encounter with ghouls, zombie-like creatures, with an odd fascination for pocket watches and silverware. They were much faster than in the movies. So when she came across more of them, she played it safe and shot them through the window. Continuing her exploring, Sarah came across a town where she could hear gunfire in the distance. She thought it best to take a nap, but somehow couldn't get herself to do it. Molotovs were proving to be more effective against the ghouls than her gun, and Sarah had become adept at throwing them. She could sense their exact trajectory, so now she no longer had to worry. Continuing south towards the gunfire, Sarah found more ghouls, but they were attacking someone else, which was a refreshing change of pace. She threw some Molotovs at them instead. She seemed to also be setting fire to a guy in a metal outfit. But he didn't appear to mind, so neither did she.
Civilian in the perimeter. Check your fire.
Sarah realized she'd been a bit overzealous with the Molotovs, as the guy's time spent in flames seemed to have damaged his fine motor skills.
What's your business here?
And it turned out, his manners.
I prefer to keep my business to myself.
Then, if there's nothing left to discuss, I suggest you leave our compound immediately.
Sarah had picked up a nasty infection from a mattress in the ghoul town and needed to find a doctor. Fortunately, there was a city nearby. Unfortunately, there were a bunch of people that wanted to talk to her on her way in.
One size fit all?
What do you mean you can't open the gate? Stop playing around, Danny. I'm standing out in the open here for crying out loud.
Jeez, all right. No need to make it personal, Piper. Give me a minute.
Better head inside quick before old Danny catches on to the bluff.
Hey, I don't take orders from you.
Whoa, take it easy. Yikes. You, come along whenever you're ready.
Piper, who let you back inside? I told Sullivan to keep that gate shut.
Inside, she found a doctor.
I've seen worse. Better stitch you up before infection sets in, though.
He didn't seem able to recognize an infection, but he could cure it, which was what mattered. Then Jake got in touch.
Hey there, darling. How you doing? Don't bother answering that. I can't hear you through your Pip-Boy. Also, this is pre-recorded. I got some news on the comm hub. After a little tinkering, a few replaced parts, and a whole lot of cursing, I've still not been able to turn it on. Not exactly the best news, I know. But as it turns out, 2 of its parts are degraded beyond use. However, here's some good news. An acquaintance of mine did some information digging, and we made a little discovery. Turns out, there's a building in downtown Boston where we may find a second comm hub in better condition. This message should trigger a marker update on your Pip-Boy's map. I'll be waiting for you there by the time you hear this.
This has been a pre-recorded message. Message in 3 seconds.
There, human. Treat for you.
Who's there? Hey.
Hey, darling. As I said in my message, I've been unable to get our comm hub running. Honestly, given the state of it, I'm not surprised. Tech like that ain't designed to be left sitting around unused. Too many of its components have seized up or just degraded over time.
I knew this was a waste of time.
Hold up now. This isn't a lost cause, not yet. Just listen. Fortune has smiled upon us. A friend of mine discovered where we might find a second comm hub in better condition, as well as a nice stockpile of ASAM products to boot. So if you'd care to join me, I want to go check this place out.
They headed to a nearby Vault-Tec office building. The customer service there was atrocious. Searching the place, they settled into a comfortable routine. Sarah did the looting, and Jake did the talking.
If I had a cap for every time I heard that damn War song, I'd... Where did I put that screwdriver? You and I should get a drink sometime. You think Ferals remember anything? You know, from before they went all loopy in the head? But I could sure go for a sarsaparilla.
Eventually, they found what they were looking for.
Check this place out.
A secret basement with lots of ASAM-related stuff.
Although it looks like they were trying to skip the whole R&D phase and just reverse engineer everything. To call this trip productive would be an understatement. I knew working with you was a good idea, but damn, I didn't expect us to do this well.
The reward better be worth it.
Oh, it will be. Trust me. All right, I need to start gathering things up. Move everything we found back to the hardware store. Oh, wait, shit! I completely forgot! I meant to go meet up with someone. And I doubt they'll take kindly me blowing them off. Look, I know I'm kind of passing the buck, but could you meet with this fella for me? See what he wants? I'd really appreciate it.
I guess I'll have to, since you're useless.
I know I'm being a pain in the britches, but I really do appreciate this. The fella you need to visit lives up in Diamond City. He's an information broker. Calls himself the Ron.
Hey, all right! Another new client. Don't be shy now. No need to stay in the waiting room. Come sit your hip self down. Okay. How about some pie? Oh yeah! I like that look. The kind that says, don't start trouble with me unless you're cruising for a bruising. I can tell you're a chick with her head on straight. The smart, sophisticated type who really understands the way of things.
Spare me the sales pitch.
Oh, okay. But there's no need to be a party pooper when the Ron's just trying to introduce himself.
I don't care. I need information, and you're gonna give it to me.
Whoa! No reason to get all bent out of shape. Let's get down to brass tacks. The reason I asked Jake back here was so I could share some information. But since you're his partner, I can tell you the info instead. For a price. After all, I'm running a business here.
Stop being vague and just tell me what's going on.
As Jake tells it, you and he are building up settlements together. Now that's cool and all. But he's off the gas for a second. Have you stopped to think about the people joining those settlements? After all, it's the people that make a town. And surely you want the best and brightest, right?
I really don't care.
Oh, well, maybe you don't. But I'm sure Jake does. Huh? But you can't always tell who's hip just by looking. Or can you? You ever heard of a vigor tester? It's a kind of science machine, cooked up by pre-war nerds. It can measure a person's attributes. Use it to scan someone, and it can tell if they're as strong as a deathclaw, or as weak as a kitten, smart as an AI, or as dumb as a mutant. Pretty rad! On a side note, if you're looking for able settlers, I got a few leads you might be interested in. Here, this info's on the house.
No, not interested.
The Ron understands if you're too busy. After all, time is money. But if you change your mind, you have the info you need. Feel free to come back and see the Ron anytime you need information. Oh yeah.
It was off to Vault 81, where Sarah turned on all her charm to convince them to let her in.
Hold it right there. Vault 81's
For newcomers, we like to
But I'm a fellow...
All the more reason.
Which they didn't. Which, considering Sarah was as charismatic as they come, felt a bit unfair. Thankfully, it all turned out to be just a dream.
But I'm a fellow vault dweller.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Which was a relief because running around collecting fusion cores would have been really boring.
Welcome to Vault 81. I'm Deputy Overseer Mansfield. If you've any questions or problems, please bring them to me. Otherwise, enjoy your time in the vault.
Anything to do around here?
We are a vault, not an entertainment arcade. If you're bored, why not go shoot some of the bloatflies near the reservoir?
It's over. For now.
To get the bigger thing, Sarah first had to do some busy work.
Hey, all rusty.
And then find a missing patrol. After initially taking on a bit more than she could chew, Sarah made it to the spot where the patrol was supposed to be. There was no patrol, only robots and gunners. The gunners were tough, but robots, it turned out, didn't much like gunners either. Out of respect, Sarah chose to not. Oh, come on. Christ.
Uh-oh.
Finally arriving back home at her settlement, she was greeted by an unpleasant surprise. A dead settler. Sarah's first thought was that they had died of a disease, but then she vaguely remembered something about some settler at some point saying something about a kidnapping, and Sarah having said something about looking into it. It all made her ponder her mortality. And it made her ponder the mortality of her settlers. After a quick cleanup, it was off to Jake.
How'd things go with the Ron? You have anything interesting for us?
Is everyone in the Commonwealth so goddamn crazy?
Yeah, the Ron's a character, all right. But after you get to know him, he's not so bad. So, what did the coolest cat in the Commonwealth have for us?
Take a look.
Hey, I've seen one of these before. It's a vigor tester, right? Lets you measure a person's qualities. How'd they make her so tiny? One I used was the size of a whole cabinet. Hey, hold still for a sec. Well, goddamn. I knew you were charming. But according to this thing, you're a regular Dean Domino.
You scanned me without my consent?
Whoa, all right. I'm sorry. I was only messing around. I didn't mean nothing by it. The Ron really found this for us, did he? Not bad. This'll come in real useful. Help us assign the right people to work the right jobs. Here, you should keep hold of this. I think you'll put it to better use than me.
What have you been up to?
Well, as you can see, I've been busy. I've been organizing everything we brought back from the Vault-Tec HQ. Including the most important thing, the Vault-Tec version of a comm hub. Or Vault Hub, as I started calling it.
Okay.
Actually, thanks to Vault Hub, I've already made some progress starting repairs to the real thing. Through trial and error, we can swap out parts, find what works and what doesn't. What we need to repair and what we need to replace. It'll be a slow process, but worth it in the end. I think we're finally on the road to getting a working comm hub, and more out of our ASAMs.
Took you long enough.
I know. And I really do appreciate your patience in this. Trust me, it'll all be worth it in the end. Oh, and by the way, thanks to that little patch job we just did, technically speaking, we're now connected to every ASAM sensor in the immediate area.
Skip to the good part.
This means we can now remotely send and receive data to any nearby ASAMs. Although, right now, our range is fairly limited. At least for the time being.
That's disappointing.
Hey, it's early days. We still got a lot of work to do on the hub. Chances are I'll be able to boost the range and do some other cool stuff too. In any settlement that's not too far away, you'll now be able to build using those new plots.
Back home, she began by building a clinic to try and keep diseases in check. Then, because life can't only be about healthy choices, she built a pizza parlor. There'd been so much to do that she hadn't even had time to look into getting the drive-in working. But with some elbow grease and a donut stand or two, it would become amazing. Or not. It was really much too early to tell.